All right. So, welcome everyone to The Market Man. I'm joined here by Mr. Alex, and today we're going to be discussing with you about his life, his background, and how he built a digital marketing empire. So, Mr. Alex, please tell us about yourself, will you?
So like you said, my name is Alex Melen. So I'm the co-founder of SmartSite. So it's a full service digital marketing agency I founded with my younger brother over 10 years ago. I've been growing the business since. We're at over 200 full-time employees now, six offices worldwide, and over 1,000 clients. And growing every year. We actually just heard today that we're going to be in the Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies again. So very, very exciting stuff. As a company, we've been doubling in size every 18 months or so. So every year and a half, we double. So hoping to be by 500 employees in a year and a half from today.
So, how did you get started in the industry?
Yeah, cool. So a good question. So I've been involved with digital space for a very, very long time. I started my first company in 1997 when I was just 13 years old. I started one of the first web hosting companies. So I've been involved in digital space since the beginning, really. And later on in my career, after graduating college and starting a couple of startups, I wound up at Publicis, which is one of the biggest marketing advertising agencies in the world, really. And I wound up there managing digital for Samsung and then Walmart. And I spent 3 years there, and I really realized the amazing digital marketing stuff that was going on at that kind of enterprise level and being offered to the Fortune 500 companies, right? And it was a big disconnect to what was being offered to the small businesses, medium businesses. They weren't doing anything even close to that. So I saw the opportunity to really start offering that kind of enterprise level, cutting edge marketing technology, what's now a whole tech industry, to small, medium-sized businesses. At the same time, my younger brother was running an SEO company. So we really joined forces and started SmartSites to be a full-service digital provider and really partner to the small and medium-sized businesses. We do everything from websites to development, design, SEO, pay-per-click, really everything digital. We have the capabilities to do.
So, tell us about your background. What kind of family are you from?
Yeah, good question. So I actually wasn't born in the U.S. My family immigrated here. I'm originally from the USSR. I was born in Kiev, Ukraine, but when my family left, it was still the USSR. It wasn't Ukraine. So I left in the 1990 or so. I came to the U.S. when I was 7 years old. So really, my family came here with nothing. And I was just fortunate enough that both my parents were in the computer science space, and I had exposure to computers really young, and it really saw a huge future in the computer space and then internet space as it really, I was young, but it really unfolded before my eyes. I remember when connecting to the internet, you just connected to like a black screen where you could just type commands and that's it, right? There's no browsers. So it really all unfolded before my eyes, and I was just both fortunate to have access to some of it, and I was very passionate about it and kind of taught myself and took it from there.
Interesting. So, what has it been like building a great company like SmartSites?
Yeah, so it's definitely challenging. So I've started other companies before, T35 Hosting being the most notable. With SmartSites, it's a little different because we are primarily people focused, meaning that we don't really produce anything, right? We don't like make a cell phone or anything. We really provide a service to clients, and at the end of the day, it's our employees that make that service happen. So there's really no product to perfect or whatnot, although our services in some regard are products, but ultimately it's the people, and the focus is on hiring, training the right people, putting the processes in place, and giving them the tools to help our clients succeed. And there's definitely been challenges, right? COVID being a very big one, because most of our clients are small businesses. So obviously especially we're very heavy in the New York City area because that's where we're headquartered. So obviously we were hit very hard, but I think all businesses and all people have challenges along the way. So it's nothing outside the ordinary. I think outside from the one-off events like COVID, the biggest challenge is really growing the company, right? If we just had 10 employees and that's it, and we kept 10 employees, it's a lot easier than going from 10 to 20 to 40 to 60 and just keep growing because as you grow the company, you have to be really careful that your quality of service doesn't get worse, that employee morale is there, and employees love doing what they're doing, and you're not forcing them to do something they hate. And ultimately coming up with really departments and roles responsibilities, right? It's a lot different having a 10-person company and a 200-person company, and we went through that whole spectrum within about 9 years.
And what would you say some of the tools are that smart sites use?
Yeah, so we don't, you know what, we've never really used a lot of like existing built tools. I mean, you have the obvious ones, like we're very Google centric. So we use G Suite, which is now Google Workspace for like email, Google Drive, stuff like that. Outside of that, I mean, there's the obvious like industry specific, like on the SEO side, you have SEMrush and you have Ahrefs, and there's a lot of industry specific stuff. But outside of that, we really haven't relied or built a company around pre-existing tools because that obviously wouldn't give us great flexibility. We've kind of made our own stuff along the way as we've developed the company.
So what are you doing to push smart sites forward?
Yeah, good question. So I think continuing to grow is super important. I think companies that are just stagnant and they're like, look, it's not even always employee count. It could be products or services, right? But companies who are just, we're happy where we are. Let's not do anything new. Let's not grow. Let's not innovate, right? Those are the companies that go out of business. So I think it's always important to keep growing, whether that's headcount or services or innovation. So we invest heavily in innovation, developing new services, new ways to help our clients. We have a good amount of our time and effort dedicated to trying new things and doing new things. I think that's the most important. Obviously, for our company, a lot of our goals are around growing and reaching a certain size, because as we continue to grow, we could provide more and more value to our current clients, and obviously we could service more clients. But I think innovation, trying new things, and really not being stagnant is the most important for a company of any size, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what would you say one big problem is in the digital marketing space that you wish was solved?
Yeah, so there's been a lot along the way. On the SEO side, one of the most frustrating is the bad experiences people have had with SEO and how SEO has been pitched for the last 15, 20 years, right? SEO has always been kind of like a mystery box. Agencies would say, sure, we'll do some SEO for you. You pay us 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is, and some things will change, right? It's always been very mysterious. It hasn't been transparent, and a lot of people have been burned, right? There's a lot of, I don't even want to say scams, but there's a lot of times people pay a lot of money and they don't get the results they expect just because there's never transparency, there's never expectation. So if I wish for anything in that space, it would be for more companies to really be transparent with what they do and really level setting. And we just come across so many companies that have been burned in the past, and it takes a while to kind of get them to come around. And SEO is still super important, will continue to be important, right? Optimizing your site, creating content, building authority will bring value to your website and business forever. So it'll continue to be important, but yeah, I wish there was more transparency and really less mysteries in the industry. Outside from that, it's really, keeping up with the latest changes, right? The industry is fast moving. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but it is very fast moving. A month or two ago, iOS decided to block cookies, right? So now Facebook is a lot less effective, Facebook advertising. So before, for those that don't know the full scope, before on Facebook, it's all about targeting audiences, right? Male, female, ages, and Facebook has all this information or a value from a lot of third-party cookies. So Apple came out and now said that on the latest iOS devices, once you update your iPhones, you have to authorize the platforms and give them permission to track you that way. So you have a pop-up that now says, do you want to be tracked, right? Guess what? No one wants to be tracked. Right now, the opt-in is 9%, right? So a little less than 10% of people, 1 in 10, are actually saying, yes, please track me. So guess what? You're losing 9 out of 10 of those people. You don't know now their age, gender, interest, whatever it is. So before you were a clothing brand on Facebook that was targeting females, all of a sudden you're advertising now. You don't know if you're targeting females, right? You're targeting, it could be male, it could be female, because so many people are opting out. So not to say it's going to be the worst thing ever, right? Facebook's working on an alternative. Google's not as impacted. We'll get through this, but the industry itself is very, very fast paced. So there's always obstacles and challenges, and I think for businesses, it's all about how you react to them and how you overcome.
That is very true. Who in the digital marketing space would you say you look up to as well?
Yeah, so good question. So I've done a bunch of interviews. I always get that question, like, who's your role model, who do you look up to? So I'll give the unpopular answer that I really don't have one, right? And it's nothing against people who do. I think it's important for a lot of people. For me personally, I try not to really follow an individual or company, because they get caught up a little bit with trying to emulate what they're doing and really kind of lose the uniqueness. So I personally have never really had someone I like my role model, or like someone I follow. Obviously, growing up, Bill Gates was a huge role model for me. Elon Musk, people like that. But aside from that, I try follow all industry trends, people, things like that. I speak at a lot of conferences, so I get to meet really cool people and get kind of their inside opinions in person. Thank God, in-person events are coming back now. They were gone for 18 months because of COVID. So I don't have anyone specifically, but I think it is important to follow the general trends, follow a bunch of people, not just a single person. And I'm still a huge fan for in-person events and meeting and talking with industry peers in person.
And so now for the final, probably the most important question: is cereal soup? Why or why not?
Is cereal soup? It's funny. I remember you sent me the questions before if I was going to pre-record, and I briefly glanced at it, and I saw that one. And I was like, what a silly question. But yeah, it's an interesting one. So it's I don't have a specific answer, but growing up, I don't know if it's like a immigrant thing, like or what it is, but growing up, I remember we had cereal with like different things, right? It wasn't always milk. I remember we were out of milk. My mom's like, "Oh, just pour some orange juice in it, or put some water in it." I don't know if others had that.
For real?
I don't know if others had that experience, or it's like an immigrant thing. But from that perspective, I think it does become closer to soup. Once you start having it with different liquids in it, I think it's close to soup.
I mean, yeah, who decides that we have to add milk to the cereal, right? Anything that goes.
It's, and again, I don't know if other people do it, or my family really came to the U.S. with absolutely nothing. We lived in not the best neighborhood in New York City either. So it might have been related to literally us not having any milk. But I think I've heard other people do that as well. It was disgusting, by the way. If you ever don't even try it. Like orange juice in cereal is disgusting. But if you Google it around, I remember telling that story at one of the conferences, and a couple of people were like, "Oh yeah, of course I had cereal with orange juice." So I think I'm not the only one.
So thank you again, Mr. Alex, for joining me.
No problem. Have
thank
a good
you.
Day.